In the distant sector of Andrus 4, a young human cadet named Lyra sat alone in the dimly lit command room, staring at the glowing holographic map of the alien base known as Vortex 9, a sprawling fortress of metal and energy shields that seemed untouchable from any angle. And though her commanders had warned her countless times that surrender was the only option, that any attempt to infiltrate the base would be suicidal, Lyra felt a strange mix of fear and excitement coursing through her veins. Because while everyone else saw only walls, weapons and patrols, she saw possibilities, openings, and a chance to prove that humans were more than weak, expendable soldiers in the galaxy, and she leaned closer to the holographic schematics, her eyes scanning every corridor, turret, and sensor as if reading the alien minds that had designed the base, noting patterns, pauses, and small gaps in the patrol routes, tiny blind spots that no one else would dare to notice, and she whispered to herself, "They think I'll fail, but they have no idea what humans can do." The words steady despite the tension in the air, and her mind raced through simulations of every possible move, every step she could take to avoid detection, using her instincts, intelligence, and knowledge of alien behavior, while imagining how the enemy would respond to a human operating in ways they had never anticipated. And she remembered the words of her mentor, who had once told her that courage was not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it, and Lyra now felt that truth deep in her chest, knowing that this mission was not just about survival or success, it was about proving that humans could outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast even the most advanced alien forces. And as she prepared her suit and weapons, checking every system with meticulous care, the weight of the mission pressed on her shoulders, yet she welcomed it, because fear had a way of sharpening the senses and focusing the mind, and she imagined herself slipping through the shadows of the alien base, blending with the darkness, observing every patrol, listening to every alarm, predicting every movement, and she pictured the faces of alien commanders as their perfect systems suddenly failed, their soldiers confused, their confidence shattered, all because one human had dared to think differently. And outside, the wind of Andrus 4 howled through empty streets and rocky outcrops, a reminder of the harshness of space. Yet inside the command room, Lyra felt alive, every heartbeat echoing like a drum of destiny, and she reviewed the mission instructions once more, noting the locations of energy generators, communication hubs, and defense turrets, and she marked possible entry points, escape routes, and hiding places, forming a mental map of success that was fluid and adaptable, because she knew the aliens would not act exactly as predicted, and improvisation would be her greatest weapon, while the hum of the holographic systems filled the room, casting eerie shadows across her determined face, and she thought of her fellow cadets back on the base station, many of whom had doubted her, believing that humans were too weak, too slow, or too predictable to succeed against such overwhelming odds, and she smiled, knowing that their disbelief would not matter when she returned victorious. And as the night deepened, she packed the essentials, her compact energy rifle, portable hacking tools, and a small supply of rations, every item chosen with care for maximum efficiency, and she ran mental drills, imagining every scenario, from detection by patrol drones to unexpected structural failures, preparing herself for the impossible, while her mind kept returning to the key realization that this mission was not just a test of skill, but a challenge to the very perception of humans in the galaxy, and that every careful step, every quiet maneuver, and every clever trick would not only ensure her survival, but demonstrate the ingenuity, courage, and adaptability of her species. And she imagined the moment she would finally reach the heart of Vortex 9, standing in the command center, manipulating alien systems with precision, turning the base's own technology against them, and she felt a surge of adrenaline at the thought, knowing that success would shock humans and aliens alike, reshaping what everyone believed about strength, strategy, and intelligence in the cosmos, and the suspense of the unknown. The potential for failure or discovery made her pulse quicken, sharpening her focus to a razor edge, because in the moments before action, the mind becomes alive, aware of every detail, every sound, every movement, and she sensed that the universe itself was holding its breath, waiting to see what a single human cadet could accomplish against impossible odds. And as she finally stood, stretching, ready to begin her journey through the shadows, she whispered one last time to herself, "It's time to show them. Time to show the galaxy what humans are really capable of." And with that, she stepped out of the command room, into the silent corridors of the station, each footstep echoing with purpose, anticipation, and the quiet, unshakable confidence that she would succeed where others thought it impossible. and that the impossible mission was only the beginning of a story that would be remembered across the stars. Lyra piloted her small scout ship through the asteroid belt surrounding Vortex 9, every movement deliberate and silent, the engines humming softly as she maneuvered between massive rocks that could crush her vessel in seconds, and outside, the blackness of space stretched infinitely, dotted with distant stars that seemed indifferent to the danger she faced. Yet inside the cockpit, Lyra's eyes were sharp and alert, scanning every sensor and radar pulse, analyzing patrol routes, drone patterns, and defense systems of the alien base she was about to infiltrate, knowing that one wrong calculation could alert the aliens and end her mission instantly. And as she approached the base, a massive structure glowing with energy shields and automated turrets, she noticed the subtle rotation of defense drones, moving in patterns that at first seemed random but revealed small gaps, moments when she could slip through undetected, and her heart pounded with a mix of fear and excitement, knowing that the odds were against her, yet trusting in her training, intelligence, and instincts, while the alien AI system scanned space for threats, completely unaware that a human was observing, analyzing, and predicting every move, and Lyra quietly activated a series of low-frequency jammers and signal disruptors she had modified herself, designed to confuse alien sensors just enough to hide her approach, and the screens flickered as the base's systems momentarily misread her location, showing false positives and phantom signals, buying her precious minutes, and she whispered to herself, "Just a little closer, they won't see me coming." As she carefully navigated through narrow corridors of floating debris, the asteroid shadows masking her path, while small bursts of energy from alien patrol ships swept across the sector, missing her by mere meters, tension building with every second, because discovery now meant instant destruction, and she thought of her fellow cadets, some of whom had been dismissed from the mission for fear of failure, their disbelief now irrelevant, as she relied on her own skill, ingenuity, and courage to defy expectations, and inside the cockpit, her hands moved with precision, adjusting the trajectory, calculating velocity, and monitoring energy shields, while her mind ran multiple simulations at once, predicting the reactions of alien patrols, scanning for weak points, and preparing for contingencies, and she noticed that the alien drones were programmed to respond to unusual movement patterns but lacked adaptability, and this gave her an edge, because while the aliens followed their rigid protocols, she could improvise, hide, and strike unpredictably, and the suspense grew as she maneuvered between two massive orbital defense satellites, the laser turrets rotating slowly, almost hypnotically, yet creating perfect blind spots that she could exploit, and she held her breath, watching the gap close, waiting for the right moment, timing her engines, thrusters, and angle with mathematical precision, while outside, the void of space seemed to watch silently, the distant stars blinking like distant eyes observing her daring approach, and she activated the final phase of her stealth sequence, reducing the ship's energy signature, dimming lights, and rerouting power to the engines for maximum agility, and for a moment, nothing moved but her ship, gliding silently through the danger zone, the alien sensors misled, the drones passing overhead without detecting her, and Lyra felt a surge of exhilaration, mixed with tension, because the base was so close she could almost see the energy shields rippling in the distance, the automated weapons glinting as they rotated, ready to destroy anything that triggered them, yet she remained calm, focused, and calculating, knowing that her success depended not on luck, but on strategy, intelligence, and timing, and as she approached the perimeter, she ran through one last checklist. Disable external alarms, jam internal sensors, and prepare for rapid entry once a suitable opening appeared, and the suspense for viewers built as Lyra inched closer, every second filled with danger, anticipation, and the thrill of possibility, and she thought of what awaited inside the base. Alien technology, command centers, and perhaps the key to shifting the war in humanity's favor, and with one final, steady breath, she whispered, "This is it." Time to slip inside, as her ship glided into the gap between patrols, entering the shadows of Vortex 9, undetected, invisible, and unstoppable, leaving audiences on the edge of their seats, imagining the tension, the danger, and the brilliance of a single human cadet daring to infiltrate the most fortified alien base in the galaxy, and the suspense left them eager to see how Lyra would take the next steps inside, evade detection, and begin turning the enemy's own stronghold against them, proving once again that humans, clever, resourceful, and fearless, could overcome impossible odds. Lyra slipped silently through the shadowed corridors just inside Vortex 9, her small scout ship hidden in a maintenance bay while she moved on foot, every step calculated and careful, her heart pounding yet her mind razor-sharp, because the real danger was not just the patrols or the automated turrets, but the advanced alien sensors capable of detecting the faintest vibrations or heat signatures, and she knew that one wrong move could trigger alarms, summoning reinforcements that would overwhelm her instantly. Yet Lyra felt alive, fueled by determination and the knowledge that humans were underestimated, while alien guards walked past mere meters away, speaking in guttural tones she could not understand, their boots echoing in the metallic hallways, but they failed to notice her blending with shadows and using narrow side passages, and she activated her portable hacking device, small yet powerful, designed to interface with alien systems, and she carefully connected it to a terminal near the outer perimeter turrets, fingers steady, eyes scanning every line of alien code, bypassing security protocols she had memorized, while the alarms were silent and the drones unaware of her presence, and she whispered, "Time to turn their strength against them," as she sent a pulse that temporarily disabled the outer defenses, causing turrets to freeze in place and patrol drones to hover uselessly, creating a window she could exploit, and the suspense built as she saw alien guards glance at the frozen systems, confused, unsure if it was a technical failure or sabotage, while Lyra moved quickly to plant small EMP charges at key junctions, each device precise and carefully calibrated to shut down communications and internal sensors just long enough to create chaos without endangering her, and she imagined the alien commanders watching through their screens, confident that humans were no threat, yet unaware that one cadet was inside, reshaping their defenses from within, and as the first charge detonated, lights flickered, alarms momentarily tripped, and patrol drones spun in circles, unable to identify the source of interference, while Lyra ducked behind a support column, heart racing, adrenaline surging, knowing that the base's response would be swift if they discovered her, and she quickly moved to the next checkpoint, planting the second EMP device to disable power relays for a section of security cameras, creating multiple blind spots, while she monitored patrol patterns and adjusted her position in real time, blending with shadows, silent as the darkness around her, and suspense grew as alien communications began to falter, officers questioning each other, soldiers hesitating, and automated turrets freezing without explanation, while Lyra silently laughed, a mixture of triumph and tension, realizing that the aliens' reliance on technology made them predictable, and humans could exploit that, and she whispered, "Every system they trust can be turned against them," as she moved toward the central corridor, her path clear yet filled with potential dangers, sensors flicking intermittently, patrols changing directions unexpectedly, yet she adapted instantly, ducking, weaving, and recalculating, while the suspense for viewers heightened as each action could result in discovery, and yet Lyra's intelligence, patience, and courage allowed her to succeed, slowly dismantling the outer defenses from inside, proving that one human could outthink an entire base of aliens, and as she prepared to take the next critical step toward the heart of Vortex 9, she paused for a moment, breathing steadily, scanning every angle, and whispered, "The first strike is only the beginning," knowing that the chaos she had created outside would ripple through the base, causing confusion, frustration, and mistakes, while she remained calm, focused, and unstoppable, and alien commanders struggled to understand why their systems were failing, their soldiers distracted and divided, while Lyra watched from the shadows, her mind already calculating the next move, and the suspense mounted as viewers imagined the inner workings of a heavily fortified alien base unraveling because one human cadet had dared to strike first, proving that intelligence, courage, and cunning could defeat brute strength and advanced technology, and leaving everyone eager to see how Lyra would turn this first strike into total control of the enemy base, demonstrating once again that humans, clever and fearless, could do what no one else believed possible, and the story's tension remained high, keeping the audience on the edge of their seats, watching every careful move, waiting for the next bold action in the epic HFY saga. Lyra moved deeper into the corridors of Vortex 9, each step echoing softly in the alien structure, the hum of machinery all around her creating an eerie soundtrack to her daring mission, and every corner held danger, every shadow a potential threat, yet her mind remained focused, calculating, and alert, because she knew that the heart of the base was where the true power of the aliens lay, the command center controlling every turret, drone, and energy shield, and she imagined the panic that would ripple through their forces if she could reach it, while outside, the chaos she had caused with her first strike spread, alarms blaring, soldiers rushing, automated weapons misfiring, and yet Lyra pressed forward, using narrow maintenance passages, ventilation shafts, and hidden alcoves to avoid detection, her small tools and gadgets helping her bypass locked doors, cut power circuits, and create temporary diversions that confused any alien monitoring the system, and suspense built as she observed patrol patterns, noting the subtle differences in alien behavior, how they paused at certain junctions, how they communicated with short bursts of light and sound, all of which she memorized and used to her advantage, and she paused for a moment at an intersection, listening, analyzing, and deciding which path would bring her closer to the command hub, and then she moved, silent as a shadow, slipping past a pair of guards arguing over a frozen security console, and she whispered to herself, "Almost there. One step closer to turning the base against them," while her heart raced with excitement and tension, knowing that discovery now could ruin everything. Yet she remained calm, methodical, and patient, and as she approached the final corridor leading to the heart of the base, she noticed the presence of alien engineers repairing damaged systems, and she used this moment to her advantage, creating a minor power fluctuation that drew their attention away, and she slipped by, unseen and unheard, reaching the massive double doors of the command center, the energy shield glowing ominously, but her hacking devices were ready, small yet powerful, designed to interface with alien systems, and she connected to the main console, fingers steady, heart pounding, and her eyes widened as she accessed the alien network, seeing in real time the movements, communications, and commands of the entire base, and she realized that with careful manipulation, she could control the turrets, redirect drones, and confuse soldiers without firing a single shot, and the suspense intensified as she whispered, "Now it's time to turn their strength into weakness," because every action had to be precise, calculated, and timed perfectly, or the base would detect her presence, alarms would scream, and her mission would fail. Yet Lyra's mind worked quickly, mapping connections, rerouting power, and sending false signals that created phantom threats, forcing alien forces to react to invisible enemies, while she observed the commanders panicking, questioning orders, and struggling to maintain control, completely unaware that a single human cadet had infiltrated the very heart of their operations, and suspense built even more as she began to manipulate internal communications, sending conflicting messages, causing confusion among troops, and rerouting turrets to target empty corridors, creating the illusion of sabotage and betrayal, all while remaining hidden, calm, and in control, and she could feel the excitement and tension building in her chest as the aliens realized their systems were no longer reliable, while she continued to carefully move through the command hub, monitoring sensors, power lines, and communication channels, planning the final steps to complete her takeover, and she imagined the moment the human fleet outside would notice the sudden chaos, realizing that the cadet inside had done what no one thought possible, and the suspense for viewers reached a peak as every decision she made could either bring victory or expose her, yet Lyra's intelligence, courage, and patience allowed her to act decisively, turning the base into a trap for the alien forces, proving once again that humans, clever and fearless, could outthink and outmaneuver even the most advanced alien civilizations, and as she prepared to take full control, she whispered, "This is the moment. The heart of the base is mine," leaving the audience on the edge of their seats, imagining the next moves, the unfolding chaos, and the daring brilliance of one human cadet changing the course of an entire battle in the galaxy, making them eager to see how Lyra would complete her mission and solidify humanity's victory in the face. Lyra's hands moved quickly over the alien control panels, her fingers precise and steady as she manipulated the systems to create maximum confusion among the troops, while her mind raced, calculating the timing of every action, the movement of every patrol, and the reactions of every alien commander, knowing that any misstep could expose her and ruin the mission. And she could feel her heart pounding with excitement and tension as alarms flickered erratically and security drones spun in confusion, firing at phantom targets she had created, while soldiers shouted at each other in frustration, unsure who to trust or where the threat was coming from, and Lyra smiled quietly, knowing that the chaos was exactly what she needed, because the aliens relied too heavily on technology and rigid routines, and she had learned how to turn their greatest strength into their biggest weakness, and she whispered, "Every move they make plays into my hands," as she initiated a series of commands that redirected turrets toward empty corridors, jammed communications, and activated internal lockdowns that trapped alien reinforcements away from key areas, while she moved to the central communications hub, watching as alien leaders frantically tried to regain control, shouting orders that were ignored, misinterpreted, or blocked by her interference. And the suspense built as viewers imagined the perfect storm of confusion she had created. One human cadet against an entire alien base, turning what seemed impossible into an opportunity for victory. And she knew she had to act carefully to maintain the illusion that the base was under attack from an unseen saboteur, while she simultaneously prepared to send encoded messages to the human fleet waiting outside, coordinating an attack that would synchronize perfectly with her control of the internal systems. And every step was calculated, deliberate, and daring, because Lyra understood that humans could not only fight with weapons but with intelligence, strategy, and creativity, and the aliens, blinded by their arrogance, had no idea that their technology was now being used against them. While outside, the human fleet detected strange fluctuations in the base's systems, sensors showing conflicting signals, drones malfunctioning, and energy shields flickering unpredictably, and Lyra knew this meant her plan was working perfectly, creating a psychological advantage as well as a tactical one, and she pressed forward, planting small power disruptors at strategic locations to prevent the aliens from regaining control, while monitoring troop movements and identifying weak points in their organization. And she smiled again, whispering, "They think they can fight back, but every move they make is part of the trap," as she observed alien forces turning on each other, misfiring weapons, and retreating into defensive positions, unaware that a single human cadet had orchestrated the entire disaster. And the suspense for viewers intensified as every second brought new twists, near discoveries, and daring maneuvers, while Lyra carefully moved toward the command center's main console, the core of the base's operations, knowing that gaining complete control there would seal the victory. And as she accessed the central interface, rerouting energy, redirecting drones, and activating defense systems to block alien reinforcements, she felt a surge of triumph and adrenaline, realizing that one human could manipulate the entire base, turning its own power against its creators. And the suspense remained high as viewers imagined the alien commanders frantically trying to respond, their confidence shattered, their forces confused, and their defenses failing, all while Lyra remained calm, focused, and unstoppable. And she whispered, "Victory will come not from brute force, but from thinking, from skill, from courage," proving once again that humans were clever, resourceful, and fearless. And as the final stage of her plan unfolded, turrets targeted enemy forces, drones shut down, communications failed, and alien soldiers became trapped, and the human fleet outside prepared to strike at the perfect moment, coordinated with Lyra's control of the base. And the suspense reached its peak as the impossible mission transformed into a stunning human victory, orchestrated by one young cadet who had outwitted an entire alien garrison, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, imagining how the final confrontation would unfold, eager to see how Lyra would complete her daring takeover and prove that humans could accomplish what no one believed possible in the galaxy. And the story demonstrated once again the heart of HFY. Courage, intelligence, and creativity could triumph over raw power, leaving the audience inspired and captivated for the final part. Lyra stood before the main console in the heart of Vortex 9, her hands steady despite the adrenaline racing through her veins, as every system in the alien base now bent to her control. And outside, the human fleet sensed the perfect moment to strike, their ships surging forward with precision as the base's defenses turned against its own forces, and alarms blared in a cacophony of confusion while alien soldiers scrambled, unable to understand why their strongest positions had failed, because Lyra had not only infiltrated their base but had orchestrated a complete takeover without a single human casualty. And she whispered quietly, "This is for every soldier who believed in impossible odds. This is for humanity," while her mind ran through the countless calculations, ensuring that every turret, every drone, and every energy shield functioned in perfect synchronization with the human attack outside. And the suspense heightened as the aliens realized too late that their command structure had collapsed, that their systems no longer obeyed them, and that a single human cadet had turned their fortress into a trap. And as Lyra activated the final sequence, internal power grids rerouted, drones disabled, and doors sealed, alien commanders were trapped inside their own hub, shouting orders that could no longer be executed, and the human fleet moved in, boarding teams ready to secure the base with minimal resistance. And Lyra watched silently, her mind analyzing every move, predicting every reaction. As alien morale crumbled, their confidence shattered by the brilliance and daring of one human, and she allowed herself a small smile, knowing that the impossible mission had become an extraordinary victory, the suspense for viewers reaching its peak as every action she took created cascading effects across the base. while soldiers outside and inside were disoriented, confused and powerless. Their technology now a tool in the hands of a human cadet, and Lyra moved through the corridors, confirming that every system was under control, that every trap she had set functioned as intended, while the alien forces tried desperately to regroup, failing at every turn, and she whispered to herself, "They thought humans were weak. They were wrong," as the enormity of her achievement settled in, and the audience could feel the tension, the thrill, and the triumph, all at once. Because the victory was not just tactical, it was psychological, proving that humans, clever and courageous, could overcome overwhelming odds, and as the human fleet secured key positions and began taking control of alien technology, Lyra accessed the communications network, broadcasting a message to the remaining alien forces, a declaration of human ingenuity and resilience, and the suspense remained high as viewers imagined the aliens receiving the message, their systems hacked, their pride shattered, and their perception of humanity forever changed, and Lyra reflected on the journey that had brought her here, from studying patrol patterns to hacking the core console, creating chaos from within, and coordinating the fleet outside, and she realized that every step, every decision, every calculated risk had contributed to a moment that would be remembered across the galaxy. While inside the base, alien officers attempted last-ditch efforts to regain control, only to be met with complete failure, proving that strategy, intelligence, and courage could surpass brute strength and technology, and she whispered again, "This is only the beginning. Humans will never be underestimated again." While the human fleet moved to secure the outer defenses, ensuring no retaliation could undo their hard-earned victory, and the suspense for viewers remained gripping, imagining the scale of the triumph and the cleverness that had made it possible, and as Lyra looked over the control panels, seeing the alien systems fully in human hands, she allowed herself a moment of pride, knowing that one cadet had changed the course of the battle, the mission, and the perception of humanity in the galaxy, and she smiled, realizing that courage, patience, and intelligence could achieve what no one thought possible, leaving viewers inspired and captivated, eager to see how humans would continue to prove their strength, and the story concluded with a powerful message of HFY. That clever, fearless humans could take on impossible challenges, outthink powerful enemies, and turn even the most fortified alien base into a testament to human ingenuity and bravery, ending with suspense, triumph, and the promise of more extraordinary feats to come in the galaxy.